staying on?
I hope so. I told her we'll just reappoint him.
For mailing?
Mm-hmm.
I think why are we sending out
Okay.
the old?
I'll have to check into that. I didn't think.
Call to order the meeting of White Township Board of Supervisors. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could I roll call, please?
Mr. Lentz. Mrs. McCauley.
Here.
Mr. Gallo.
Here.
Mrs. Gillette.
Here.
Mr. Kozlowski.
Here.
Mr. Fritz.
Here.
Mr. Anderson.
Here.
And Secretary Hill is here.
Thank you, Dawn. I want to welcome everyone here tonight. We have an agenda here. This is a special meeting to do review of everything that's been going on these last couple meetings on our ordinance. So what we're going to do is we'll go through the public participation here, comment time. I'm going to ask you to please stand at the podium, state your name, where you live, and then we have to keep it brief because we have other things on our agenda tonight. This is a work session, so we want to be able to get through it and not have to leave here at midnight. So I ask you, please, try not to be redundant or anything. You know, we know all the issues. We know why you guys are here, and we are reviewing this ordinance very closely. And as I think my colleague here said it before, government doesn't move fast. We want to make sure we got it right, and that's why we're reviewing it. And we appreciate your input. So we're glad you're here tonight. So this time I'm going to go down through the list, and Walter, you're first on the list here. Okay.
For the record, I'm Walter Schroth. I live at 150 Martin Road in White Township. And my comments will be relatively brief this evening. I did submit a detailed set of comments to the board. I hope that they will be seriously considered. My main issues here are the question of some common sense and providing multiple remedies for this ordinance. I do not object to the ordinance per se or the spirit of what you're trying to do, but rather how you're doing it and the limitations that you're placing on the homeowners or the owners of businesses and the vehicles that they own. And so that was why I wrote those comments. It was in that vein. And it's also what I would ask the board here this evening to look at multiple remedies to at least comply with the spirit of the ordinance of what you're trying to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Walter. And yes, thank you for your notes there. I've reviewed them. We've all been looking them over, and we'll take them all into consideration there. Next, we have Shirley. You can speak from there, Shirley.
Yeah, just let me read it. I couldn't help but wonder when I saw the comprehensive plan that you passed at your last meeting. Is this ordinance a toe in the water to see how it would go for other changes you want to make? Because I can't help but wonder about the comparison between White Township and Indiana Borough. And their population, as I recall, is down almost half of what it was when they started down this trail with zoning ordinances. And this smells a little bit of a zoning ordinance that you're trying to pass now. And I am very much concerned because drive through Indiana, but those people came to White Township. I don't like to bring politics into this, but it struck me very strongly when I saw a colored print of the registration, political registration in Indiana, in White Township. Indiana is a little wee dot of blue, absolutely blue. White Township is totally red. Don't want that to influence this.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Shirley. Yeah. Next, we have Nick Hoffman.
Hi, my name is Dick Hoffman. I'm a resident of the township. Thank you for listening to comments tonight. I had submitted written comments to you guys, and there are some minor, some minor details in there that I could add to. I haven't done that yet, but just tonight I want to speak up in general that I believe this ordinance should not be passed based on the constitutional right to private property, and based on the land values have been based on the freedom that the township has had over the years, and I don't think it's fair to change the rules or the methods after the fact. I believe this violates people's deeds and what they paid. If they paid for property in the township, then they knew when they paid that amount that their neighbor could be putting in anything. And so I think that to change that now is not fair. It will change values for some people, but not others. I don't think that's fair. And if I may, on a moral standpoint, I believe that the township, if they do want this, they are coveting the landowner's rights. And the residents who are for this ordinance are coveting their neighbor's rights. And I think it's wrong, and I think that this would, the township would be, for the neighbors that want this, be harming their neighbor and helping themselves, kind of as I alluded to with the land value. And covetousness is one of the seven deadly sins, and a person could be an accessory to that by command, which would be the board, by consent, which would be anybody that says, I don't care. And I think a lot of people don't really understand this. I think they see junk ordinance in the paper, and they think it doesn't apply to them. But the way that first draft was written, it applies to absolutely any vehicle, from garden tractor to a trailer to tow a motorcycle. And I think there's a lot of people that aren't understanding this could be affecting them. And just having such a thing on your property gives an officer of the township the right to come on that property and inspect everything from their mailbox to the vestibule to their house to any building. I just don't know where you come up with that. So, anyways, these are my comments, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, Nick. Joel, you're next. Joel Roller.
My name is Joel Dreyer. I live on Parkley Road in Webb Township. I support the junk automobile ordinance. Already being a revised version, I urge the supervisors to adopt the ordinance as written and already advertised without change. I feel the advertised ordinance is typical of what other municipalities have adopted and is fine the way it is without revision. It gives the township what we have needed for many years. For around 20 years, the view from my living room window have been cars 100 feet away across Barkley Road, in various states of disrepair from doors and a motor missing, and up to 19 early 80 Mercedes that were not roadworthy and never restored. In the summer, they would set in weeds twice as high as the cars. This was all because we didn't have an ordinance that could cover this issue. It's time that we do something. Now, I will make a comment about going on other people's property. As long as it's an inspection, like a yearly inspection, that is allowed. It's already being done with mobile homes. Now, that's off script, but I will give it to this guy here to the secretary.
Thank you, Joel. We appreciate the input. The reason for this public hearing meeting, work session is to gather your thoughts and your information. I know the first few meetings we didn't have a lot of conversation about it here, and we wanted to hear more. And of course, that's why we're here tonight. We're not here to answer questions or anything. We wanted to gather information and find out how others feel. It's pretty much the same people that have come, so we've heard from all of you pretty much. But we will take it all under consideration as we move forward with looking at the ordinance and the changes. As I said, government doesn't move fast, unfortunately. And I've read it, I've gone through it so many times here now, it's a lot to digest, and we wanna try and protect everybody's rights. There's no reason we're here to take away your rights. It's just we also have to listen to the constituents, as you are too, and you came expressing yourselves, and the others are expressing themselves whether they're here or not, so. At this time, then, we're gonna move on to our course.
Other people wanna speak.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes,
I
Go
just
ahead.
have one quick question, please.
yes.
What triggers an inspection of the property?
You wanna answer that?
Sure. So typically, right now, under our nuisance code, so good example would be a high grass complaint. Typically, that's a complaint that comes in from somebody in the community.
It has to be a member of the community.
No, it does not. It does not. If we receive a complaint here at the office, I get that phone call, that email, gets forwarded from somebody else. We go out and investigate that.
So anybody that complains under any of the issues written up in your ordinance.
That's any of our ordinances currently on the books, but yes, that's how it's currently. Thank you.
Just a
Yeah,
comment.
We're not the Gestapo, okay? We're not coming on your property looking for trouble. Trust me, we don't want trouble. We don't want an argument with people. And as far as, and if I'm speaking out of line, tell me. But as far as having a trailer on your property that you haul a car on, or you haul a lawnmower on, we're not gonna come there and take the thing off of you, are we? I mean, you gotta make these laws and stuff written up, but it's just to protect you from these lawyers, you know, I mean.
No offense,
Easy.
Ryan, no offense.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not at all, no, I don't mean that, but that's the way it is.
As my fellow colleague expressed just now, we're not out there looking for them.
No, not at all.
When somebody files a complaint, we have to act on it. Just like any of you guys, if you complain about something else, even if it's not illegal or legal, whatever it is, we have to act on it to find out. And if there's nothing to it, then nothing's gonna happen. If it is breaking the law or whatever, then we have to do something about it. But it's not a witch hunt like Supervisor Tim's saying here. It's
Rich, I have
Yes.
a question. I sort of have remember an experience when my lot was investigated because it didn't have the grass less than 6 inches in the woods. There was an investigator from the Township board, and luckily I was coming to the meetings, and a couple of people here know me well, and I didn't get fined, but I was told it had to be kept. Anything under the trees even, behind the wet garage, had to be less than 6 inches. That's a lot of mowing, about 4 acres altogether.
And I can't speak for previous, whoever was
But I'm
in
saying-
office
You're
then.
saying trust me, and I have an experience though that maybe I can't entirely trust somebody should. Okay?
We appreciate that, yes, thank you, Shirley.
I'm sorry.
So, hey, yeah, I can answer that. So I was the code enforcement officer on duty at the time that we received a complaint against Shirley Reisinger's property. I did go out and had a conversation, said we received a complaint, the grass is in excess of 6 inches, and I believe that's where the conversation ended, Shirley. I don't believe you were cited. I don't believe you received written warnings. I think that's something we do every time we receive a complaint on anybody's property. We go out and we investigate, we look, we inform the property owners, and that's something standard that we do.
Thank you, Chris.
And the man that made the complaint was trying to take my driveway because he had a.
We get talking about that.
Surveyor, so that it belonged to him.
We don't know the motives of why people do it, but if they call in this office and they file a complaint, it has to be addressed, so. Yes, Nick?
Clarification. So the complainer does not have to be a White Township resident?
Correct.
So what standing do they have?
Well, I mean, that's something,
There's a violation of the code. That's why we investigate.
But that person is, they're not even a resident. How do they, I don't understand how they have any capacity, legal standing or even a capacity to complain.
I don't think we're here to argue with.
yeah, we're gonna,
No. Is it
Yeah, sometimes it goes like, and if it would go to a district magistrate or under, like, if there would be a hearing, then yes, they typically would find out in that case.
Yes.
Brenda Miller, White Township. I appreciate what you do. I'm in favor of the ordinance. I agree with Mr. Schwab. We have to use common sense. There are different situations. Some people own a lot of property, a business on that property. But when it's a subdivision, and I'm referring to Sunset Acres, and people have lived there for 50 years, like my father, and they take care of their house and their yard. And you have somebody there who owns a business that has a lot of junk. And a lot of that junk is now on the front porch. There are 3 cars on the rather, it's not steep, but there's a slope to it. They're propped up with cement blocks. Windows are out for cars. There are kids that ride their bikes there. There are families that walk there every day. And I believe that person has been cited. But he still does it. Now, I live in White Township. I don't live in that neighborhood. I go to my dad's house every day, and I drive by that house, and I think, how is this allowed to happen? When everybody else around there keeps their house so nice. They're older homes. They're not huge. They're not the big houses in Indiana. But those people take pride in it. And I appreciate what you do.
Thank you, Brent. Appreciate that. Okay, was there anybody else before we move on?
I'm going to comment now, or we want to wait. Thank you all for coming tonight. First of all, this is one of the few times that we get a lot of people for something. I think we are known as small government here. We're not riding around and looking, like we said. We're a reactive organization. If we get a complaint, we check it out. We don't immediately assume you're guilty. We don't immediately write a citation. We look at things. And as Walter here commented, taking the tour of the various locations last week, Walter's a little bit different. I mean, he has a business out there. He has tons of area in which he can have vehicles. Maybe he just uses them to stack logs for a purpose or something. It's totally different than what you're doing in Sunset Acres. And in response to you, Nick, I mean, I fully respect constitutional rights. And as far as if I live in a neighborhood and I'm taking care of my house, what about my property values when I put it up for sale and the house next to me has 4 old cars in the front and things are in disrepair? It's going to hinder what I'm going to get for my property. And we all like to think we think alike, but we don't. So, and as we've shared previously, Indiana County is so diverse. I mean, we've got farmland, we've got rural areas, we've got developments, we've gotten businesses. So what we do, we're trying to accommodate all those instances. And I don't want folks that have junkyards. They're necessary. I get that. I don't want you to panic and think we're coming out there and we're looking for things to cite you for. That isn't the purpose of this. And our first draft, I agree. It was a little too harsh, I think. I think it was a little bit stern, but that was our first go at it. We basically took from another ordinance. And then I look at things, Homer City, you can't have a car parked for longer than 4 hours in your yard. I think that's what I read. I started, previewing others just so I could get a feel for what we should expect. So we're trying to be fair. I just want you all to understand. I mean, you're not going to go away tonight. I'm so glad that you came, that we've passed this, and that's how it's going to be. We've got some more work to do, and I appreciate Joel, who for years was coming here about the swimming pool ordinance and things, and I'm glad we finally accomplished that, and I think it met all the occasions, whether you were a pond on a farm or you had an above ground pool in your backyard right here in this development behind us. So I just want you to know we're trying to be fair, and we're so happy that you sent in your comments so that we could consider it inside this ordinance, and hopefully it will appease everyone as best we can, But I think it is time that we do something about some of the properties that we have that are, quite frankly, a hazard.
How many of the developments in White Township, like the one where she lives, have their own rules?
Many do have HOAs,
Because I thought that was
right,
part of the requirement.
but some don't. I mean, it
No,
depends where you are.
Are those, for example, like where you live, are there there's 6 houses on my street. We don't have a development. Everybody does their own thing. It was a farm, they got torn up and all that stuff. But,
Well, to answer your question, HOAs have to be administered by the organization. So whoever that developer is, if they don't have an organized HOA, it doesn't hold any water. But those are the ways to go. We're trying to, I think this board and previous boards of supervisors here have tried to stay away from having zoning. That's why we don't have it, because we want you to have your rights as property owners.
well,
It's
zoning
just-
for White Township will totally destroy it.
Well, this is how we're reacting to other
Yeah.
constituents
Where
to,
you have developments that have rules and regulations, the houses are close. Then you have places where there are 2 and 3 acres between houses, or even 20 acres between houses. And you're making an ordinance that covers all that. And the person that has 3 and 4 acres or 20 acres should be able to use his land as he sees fit.
and we're not trying to stop that.
We're not,
The way that ordinance was written, that doesn't protect that person at all.
So I think we have to talk a little bit about process. So here at White Township, we like to be transparent. And so we are transparent. So when we start a process, a draft ordinance, we have a sketch, we have a conceptual engineering plan of something, we have to release that information and everybody has to have an opportunity to view that. We have to start somewhere. We can't have something and show it and hide it and then just all of a sudden share it. So what we've done is we've started a transparent process with public involvement where we share a draft ordinance, we receive input, we come back with the input, we draft some changes, and everybody goes back to this original draft and that is not set in stone at all. It was a discussion starting point. And we knew a year and a half ago when we started with this, there was going to be some changes, some adjustments, and that's exactly what we've done. And I think it's great that we've included the public, the comments, and heard from everybody.
My
Because
turn.
that's why we're here.
My turn.
Chris,
Mr. Lentz, I'm sorry, Supervisor Lentz?
It's my turn. All I want to say is Sandy Gillette stole my thunder. I was planning on basically, this township has functioned rather uniquely. I've had the opportunity to be here for quite a few days. And number one, we're half rural, we're half agricultural. And most of the farming is done by farmers that do not live in White Township. Just so you clearly understand that. These big fields you see, the Fabian family has quite a few of them, and so on and so forth. And I'm involved in that. I was raised on a dairy farm. You're going to have any form of industry, you're going to have, it has to be massaged like Mulder has said. And this is a unique township. It truly is. There's no real estate tax because we're very, very conservative. We don't spend money we don't have to. If there is a problem, it is driven by a complaint. We do not look for problems. So if you have a neighbor that doesn't like you and they complain about you, Shirley, then we're gonna follow it up. And like Mr. Anderson said, involving you. I can give you the opposite analogy. I was for about 30 years, in addition to being a lot of other things, I was a sewage enforcement officer for the Department of Environmental Protection for 2 of the outlying townships. And they wanted us to look for problems. They wanted us to look for Saturday night specials. That's where the backhoe comes in over the weekend and puts the septic system in. And they, that was a whole different mindset. At least I feel this is a great township. I've had the opportunity of being a supervisor more years than what most of you have been on earth. And it's a wonderful, with the exception of Shirley. It's been this is a great place. And we're going to get a good ordinance, and it's going to be a fair ordinance. And by the way, the people who want a real strict ordinance, they won't like it. And those people who want no ordinance, they won't like it, because it's going to be common sense and right down the middle. And that's the way this township has functioned for as long as I can remember. A lot of common sense. This gentleman will make sure it's legal. That gentleman will make sure it's functional. And that gentleman will make sure they both do their job. So I don't see a problem. And thank you, Shirley. Or Shirley, I'm sorry. Sandy.
don't call me
Shirley's over
Shirley.
there.
Thank you, George.
Rich, just real quick. I got on the website today, and I could not find the draft of the ordinance on your website, whether it was the previous draft or apparently there's been a revised draft. I looked under code, I looked under news, I looked under documents, I looked under every single tab and could not find it.
Madam
Where-
Secretary?
I think when we get to a position where we have,
It's not at a position where it's,
we've had so many, the discussion items that there's really not a draft that exists right now.
Chris, if part of this is to bring in the public, which I absolutely applaud you for doing, I think that is absolutely great. If we're gonna come to a meeting like tonight, we ought to at least be able to find that document that's gonna be discussed.
We're gonna be,
on the website.
that's what we're here tonight for, to look at the rough draft that we have before us from input previous. And if you see all the red marks on all these documents, that's what it's all about, Walter. So we're gonna be.
No, I understand that. My point is that when we come to a meeting like this to give public comment, it would be good if we had the ability to see the draft document, even if it had draft, written all over it, so we would know what, was actually going to be discussed that night.
And I think this was a work session. I don't know.
yeah,
I don't think it's specifically to talk about a draft. I think the
Yeah.
work session, get input from
Right.
different.
And that's okay, but if it's something the township is considering as a public ordinance, I think it should be available.
but the first draft is obsolete at this time.
Yeah.
It's not, so it's, everybody going back to that draft.
I think what he's
It's-
asking is there a
When
second
there,
draft?
no, there's there's a working draft that we are working on that has been, and it was out there when this was first advertised and put out there. But since it has become obsolete and it's changed, and we moved to, we're not ready to do this, we're working on it, there's nothing now to,
But Donna, when we had the meeting here a month ago, I tried finding that original ordinance and was not able to do it. The website is not very user friendly to find things like that. So I accept your position that it's no longer current, but even when it was current, the only way I got my copy of it was I stole one off of Chris at the end of the meeting. Okay, so.
We gave that to you, you didn't steal it.
I stand corrected. But my point is,
It costs you
Right.
45 cents a page.
there needs to be a different.
And we're in the process, that's a new website that we just.
it is.
launched.
And
So we're
once
in the
we
process
have
of
it
building.
ready to advertise again, and it's advertised again, it will be out there again.
will be advertised to show the website to go to.
We will have to advertise again because of the time
He's
frame.
asking, will be on our website.
It will, once
I mean,
it's,
when you advertise it in the paper, you'll have it.
yes, it'll be yes, it'll be on the
I think
website.
Supervisor McCauley has something she'd like to say.
I can't believe I'm last on this. You know, many years ago, Joel, you've been trying to have a junk car ordinance for years, and we never ignored you. Do you remember the time I told you we're not ignoring you? It's just a very difficult process, and we're finally at this process. And there are so many people who will agree, so many people who won't agree, which has already been said. But we're trying our very, very best to come up with a solution to try and make everybody happy, which we all know in life that's not possible. But if you have junk cars, to me, I think it's an easy process. You put up a buffer. You can plant trees. You can put in a fence. There are many things that is a consideration to your neighbor. I would hate for us to become a society that we cannot consider our neighbor. But there are solutions to this problem, and we are trying to come up with the first step, which is the ordinance. If there's a problem, the people at the township, the employees at the township, the supervisors, we can work with people, but we have to start someplace. And I got into a lot of trouble several years ago when I made the comment, you cannot legislate being a good neighbor. And many people got mad at me for that, but that's true. You will have good neighbors and you will have bad neighbors, and it's unfortunate that we even have to have an ordinance like this. But we have to start someplace, and we have to try and take care of as many people in the township as we possibly can. And we're not out to get anybody. We're trying to make this a beautiful, livable, safe, healthy community. And this ordinance is a start. Ordinance can be amended, but we have to start someplace. And your point about not being able to read it, somebody sometime would look at a draft of an ordinance, oh my gosh, what's the township doing? And you will never be able to convince them that that ordinance did not pass in that form, that there were additional drafts. This is a working draft. We're going to take this. I've made notes all over my copy of this working draft. We're going to get there. And we're going to do our very best for everybody who lives in this township.
Thank you, Gail. And I'm just going to round it out with one comment. And your elected officials have to make these decisions listening to everybody. And one thing you have going for you, you have two brokers, real estate brokers on this board. So we're concerned just as much as everybody is about protecting people's rights, property rights. So it's something you have to be fair to both sides and listen to both sides. And then ultimately, as Supervisor McCauley was saying, we have to make a decision based on what the consensus are of the people. And I oppose basically any kind of ordinances that's going to go against property rights, being a broker in real estate, because of the fact we don't want to take away the rights. But after this came, thanks to Joel, when I first got elected here, 7-8 years ago, bringing this to us and bringing it to us and bringing it to us, have listened to the people, and like you guys tonight, and listen to the other side, what they're saying. And there's the majority of people out there that want an ordinance in place. So we have to come up with something, as we're all saying here, that's fair to everybody. And it can always be, as Supervisor McCauley said, amended if we find out something isn't working right. So we're going to have to move on now. Thank you for coming. We appreciate it. You're welcome to stay. We're going to go into work session here and work through some things. And there's other things on our agenda, but at this time, Donna, you'll be the correspondent for this, please.
We received an invite for the Challenger Learning Center open house. It is April 30th from 5 to 7 if anybody would like additional information to attend. And also I provided a letter from Bernie Kalinavich.
Okay, thank you, Donna. What we're going to do now at this time is discuss our junkyard ordinance. If there's input, I think we've all already shared a lot of input. We have before us a draft here.
So, Mr. Chairman, I think we would, staff would like an opportunity to clean it up and to, provide for some of the feedback we've received and to come up with a new document that we would be willing to share with the board.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's what the wise thing to do. We have our recommendation or some things in this already that we've been looking at, but after tonight and hearing more from the people, we'll do that. And we'll move on then. Public comments. On non-agenda items or things that have nothing to do with the junkyard.
I do have public comment.
Okay.
First of all, thank you for mentioning the Challenger Learning Center. Okay, I happen to serve and was one of the founders, along with Julia Tamarki-Kukro and Tom Harley. We've been working long and hard to try to establish it. For those of you who are not familiar with it, the Challenger Learning Center is an offshoot of Mission 51 Lima when the Challenger was destroyed on liftoff back in 1986. And that was the Educator in Space mission. And so the family of the survivors continued with that concept and established these Challenger Learning Centers for space science education. Is one of the leading STEM education programs in the United States. There's 30-some centers right now. The equipment for our center is to be delivered in November. We have walls up. I want to thank all of the state representatives, the county commissioners, and the various private individuals who have supported it financially. And this open house is to be a showcase to let the public know what we've been doing and how this will benefit particularly the middle school, later elementary, middle school, and early high school students. They're the future. We're talking about going to the moon here. We're talking about going to Mars. These kids actually fly simulated missions, low Earth orbit, moon, Mars, and to a comet. And it's a pretty terrific program. And I thank you for mentioning that. And I certainly would personally invite anybody here to come out and take a look at the work we've been doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Walter. Yeah, that sounds exciting. I will put it down on my calendar. Any other public on any comments related to what we were talking about tonight? Okay, moving on then, Chris, we're gonna go over the EMS options here.
Yep. So many of you know that over the last several years, there's been somewhat of a crisis with regard to emergency medical services, and not just White Township, not just the county, but across the nation. And Pennsylvania in particular, we've been looking at options. And one thing that everybody knows is there was a county authority formed, and with the intent of funding EMS within the township or within the county. And that has been off to a slow start. So we as White Township kind of went out on our own and worked directly with Citizens Ambulance to come up with a plan for funding Citizens on our own to take care of our residents, to help with the cost of readiness, to help with the high level of service that we like to offer our residents. So with that said, we know to be sustainable in the future, we need some type of funding source. We need something in place that we can continue to have this high level of service. And as we've looked at over the last several months, we have several options that we've looked at, and those include everything from adding to our existing authority to creating a new authority to looking at some LST options to looking at billing directly through the second class township code. So there is a chart that we provided to everybody here. I want everybody to take this with them, look at it, and as this 2026 continues, we need to start looking at these funding options for 2027. And I'm open to any questions or discussion, but we all know the issues that are at hand and the funding and what the cost of readiness is to have ambulances available.
First of all, I want to ask, most of you are probably White Township residents. how many of you realize that White Township bought you a membership this year to Citizens Ambulance at no cost to you out of your own pocket? White Township, okay, so more people knew than I thought. Brenda, you don't count because I preach too much around you.
Was that through the
We-
tax base?
I'm sorry?
Taxes? Was it funded through taxes?
It was funded through our general fund. We were fortunate. We knew this was coming down the road. We'd seen it for years. So that got you all a membership for 2026. But this is, how are we gonna handle it in 2027? We have to make that decision of the best way for us as a township to be able to support Citizens Ambulance, to continue to do their job, as well as protect our residents, which is our number one pledge that we take as supervisors, is the safety of our residents. So I know many people are confused and don't know what's going on. Other municipalities opted in with IC Mesa, but as far as what monies will come from them, it's not known yet. So Citizens is very thankful to White Township, Armstrong Township, Homer City Borough, Montgomery Township for paying out of their general fund for membership for the residents, just as we did.
I would also suggest that anybody is free to make a donation. And since I always bought a membership, I paid on membership as my donation.
Yeah, White Township is the biggest, residents are the biggest contributors to that.
Something that people don't realize, we're charged as a township to provide emergency transport. And all along here, we have, you guys, we've donated every year to keep that going to help Citizens Ambulance. Cost of everything has just skyrocketed and gone up, and we want to continue with that service. But how we do it, we have to come up with funding, or we won't
I've
be able
been a
to.
member since they started. And I knew the guy that started.
Unfortunately, Shirley, folks like you, the younger generation that comes up, they haven't faced that as you have. So they don't continue at the same rate.
Again, I mentioned about the makeup of the board here, when Sandy is on the board for Citizens, and so we have that input that can help us out a lot in making a decision. Yes, George?
We have a unique situation, which I think is a positive situation, and we have to exploit it. And that is the fact that somewhere around 80% of all the commerce in Indiana County takes place in White Township. And I live very close to the Walmart store, and quite often there's a situation in the parking lot where the ambulance is rushed to the scene and they give the Narcan, and the kid thanks them and walks away. That doesn't happen every day, but it's happening often enough that I'm aware of it. Let's say it that way. So we have a resident of an outlying area coming in here to do business. They have a need for an ambulance, and we're paying the bill for you. We are paying the bill for it if you live in White Township. And we need to address that. It's one of the things on this option. I only mention it because that's the one I'd like to push.
Thank you, George. Any other comments from the board?
No.
Okay. And we'll take it all under advisement here, what we have to do in the future to keep the emergency services provided here. Pretty good of the order. Anything from anybody from the board here? Nope. Okay. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We are adjourned. Thank you all for coming.
By the way, thank you for staying. Normally,
How you doing, buddy? Don't be,
Hanging in there.
don't be worried.